Hello everyone, this is Direwolf20 and welcome to episode 11 of Direwolf20's Let's Play series. As you can see, since last episode and before I uploaded my world, for anyone who downloaded it, I tidied up this area just a little bit. I've got my engines down there ready to turn on at the flip of a switch and turn them back off again, nice and easy. I've got a rather full redstone energy cell right now, which is running because I've got a few things cooking over here. Might have already burned through them all actually, yep. But I tested this little gizmo here and it works perfectly as I would have expected. Got some power running straight back here. I've actually got like a whole power network going throughout this area. So this actually goes up and over. It runs all the way across here, comes out from my machines upstairs, and then it continues along the wall and back down here and over to this guy to power my liquid transposer. So good amounts of hidden power lines running all over the place, looking pretty good. I'm happy with it. Did tell you guys that in this episode I would show you how to cover up these unsightly cables here, and for that I'm going to need my diamond handsaw. Just combine a piece of stone with your diamond handsaw and you get to cut it in half. Half of a block is equal to a slab. Okay, cut those slabs in half and you'll get panels, and cut those panels in half and you get covers, and covers are a great way of hiding all your wires and stuff. This only works with red power 2 wiring and stuff. It won't cover up these guys, but if we place it here like this, it should really do a nice job of hiding everything that's going on right here. So boom, there we go. Can't even tell that there's anything there. Love the cover system, but like I said, it won't really work on non-red power 2 blocks. See how it's not flush with the ground there? So, you know, that's just something for you guys to be aware of. But it's pretty awesome. This episode, want to get my initial sorting system going. Gonna require quite a few things. Step one, figure out where I want all my sorting to occur. Do I want to have my input chest down here, or do I want my input chest to be upstairs? That's the question. I'm thinking down here. So when I get back from a busy day of mining, I can just come to my, downstairs basement here, drop off everything I've collected, and boom, it'll automatically sort into all the stuff that I want it to. So that'll require, just a couple things set up throughout this room. I'm thinking maybe I'll have my input chest right here. That looks like a nice spot. Yeah, not bad. Not bad at all. Debating if I really want it there. Maybe I want to knock out one more row of walling here, because I just don't want to interfere with those lights the way they're set up. Just because they're like, covering the flooring and whatnot. So I'll just clean this up a little. And I'll come back in just a few minutes once I've sorted out exactly where I want everything to be. Alright guys, back soon. So here's the basic layout of what I want to have in my room. Input chest here, a sorting machine will come out, and I'll introduce all these items for those of you who aren't familiar with them in just a moment. But this is how I'm laying it out, and it's going to automatically sort into all the chests upstairs. And you can see a few of them already, visible right here. So not bad at all. I think this should work out. I could even, if I want to, demonstrate like this. Cool. So you can see all kinds of good stuff there, right? So I'm going to have pipes going everywhere. It's going to be a pretty complex system, I believe. So why don't I think I know what I'm going to do here. I'm going to get this guy running. So let's get a chest first off. That's going to be my input. So chest goes here. There we go. Anything that goes in there gets sorted in the system. And the way we're going to sort things is by using a sorting machine. This guy is awesome and can sort my material for me into different chests, and that's what I'm going to use. Sorting machines are definitely one of my favorite blocks from Red Power. You can see me using them all the time. And I'm going to get into some higher tier sorting mechanisms in future episodes, but for now, I have no iron. But for now, I'm going to use the sorting machine, and it'll be a good way to do it. Definitely going to get into some more higher tech stuff later, don't worry. And these guys, and one of those filters that I made earlier. And you know what? I might as well make a second because I know I'm going to need it eventually. So let's get it going now, okay? And some iron. So red power is broken up into several tiers of machines, and you can see here that your filter requires a piston in cobblestone. That's usually an indication of a tier 1 machine. You can see there's quite a few blocks here that require pistons, but let me find the red power ones. There we go. So we've got, transposers, filters, deployers, block breakers. These are all tier 1 machines. And I am going to go kill a spider. Don't mind me. Come on down, guys. I like how they hesitate. Like, they're like, should I go jump down there or what? Alright. And usually you have to use a tier 1 machine to make a tier 2. So like this sorting machine here is your tier 2, one of your tier 2 machines. It's a filter is used. And then there's even a tier 3 machine called the sortron, which requires a sorting machine. So they're basically upgrades from one block to the next. And they'll usually have similar functions. So, typically there's some kind of filter mechanics built into a sorting machine, let's say. So I've got my first sorting machine ready to place down. Now this is a machine that does unfortunately require power, so I'm going to have to run some red power 2 energy down here in some way, shape, or form. But from here I'm going to run my pneumatic tube system, and it should be pretty straightforward, I'm thinking. Maybe right here. And because I like to keep things compact and hidden, I'm going to run them straight over here, because this is the first of many destinations for anything that I'm sorting. So let's do it like this. So by running it straight down here like so, it'll be nice and well hidden from the rest of the world. And I also happen to have a couple of those relays on me. Now remember I said relays will automatically store any items that land in them and eject them into a tube system automatically. So that's the way this relay is working. Okay, any item that lands in there will automatically be ejected and sent out the tube system. No redstone pulse, nothing required, and it'll head down where it's supposed to go. The nice thing about relays is they'll actually also act as a buffer. So if I want, I can place them right down here like so. If I place my relay like this, it'll act like a buffer for the input of my pulverizers. So simply place any item inside your relay, boom, like that, and it'll go into the pulverizer and get pulverized. And then the pulverizer outputs it up into the top, where it turned into sand, believe it or not. And then the sand is emitted out the side, up into the relay, which then ejects it up the top. Cool, and there's the glass making its way out. So this guy also happened to do gravel, so don't mind that. Cool. So by using the relay system here, we're able to kind of act as a little bit of a buffer. So let's say, for example, I throw a bunch of ores in here, and this guy gets filled up. Well, don't worry, because it'll store in the relay as a buffer until it gets room. And then it'll, once this slot here is empty, the relay will then be able to shove items in. Pretty cool. So this is my system here. Now the other thing about pneumatic tubes, and you can see I'm running this pneumatic tube line over here, is the following. When a pneumatic tube system comes to an intersection, it will try and place the items into the nearest inventory. So whichever is the closest inventory to where it's at is where it's going to try and send the items. Now if it gets to an intersection where there is no exact closest and there's like a tie, for example, here is an inventory, here is an inventory, and here is an inventory, it'll actually split them all up. So you'll wind up with, one item going here, 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 and then here, here, here again. But of course, this guy might be full because I don't have a buffer block here. I'm kind of doing that for appearance's sake. It just looks a little better this way, and it'll ensure the even split. What happens with these intelligent tubes is they will never try and place something into an inventory that can't accept it. So if it tries to put something in here, it'll fail, and it'll bounce backwards and get back to this pipe and try and find another destination, which will wind up being either one of these two relays. Awesome. So we've got our first setup right there. Now, I think I need to run, like I said, some wiring straight over to my sorting machine. I'm going to want to run it from the battery box there. So let's get some. I've got some blue alloy stuff on me. I'm going to go get just a few more pieces of wool. That'll do. Oh, okay. Didn't have quite enough. That's all right. I can remedy this situation pretty easily. Luckily, you can turn string into wool. That's a huge bonus for me. Good. 41 blue alloy should be plenty. Got such a mess in my inventory here at the moment. Let me clean up just a little bit. What else do I want to drop off? That's good for now. Maybe even grab myself a little bit more stone. So here's my power from my battery box, right? How do I want to get into that guy and steal his power? Do I want this to be well hidden? Probably. I want it to be nice looking after all. Oh, I better charge my drill. I'll be back once I've got a little bit of a better plan and a fully charged drill. I think I had my backpack in there, I did. Alright, I've got a better idea here. I'm going to make a thermopile. These guys are awesome. Thermopiles generate electricity based off a heat differential. So if there's a difference in the heat around the thermopile, it'll be able to create electricity. Pretty nifty device. And a great way of doing that is using water and lava. So I've got myself a canvas bag with some buckets in it. Cool. I should go ahead and get myself one more bucket of water. And sneak outside for a minute just so I can make an infinite water source. Now, the thermopiles are really handy for some low power usage machines in a specific area. They really don't generate a lot of electricity, but they will generate enough to power a sorting machine. And since I'm doing this, I might as well get from here another battery box, because thermopiles really generate such a small amount of electricity that you want to go ahead and put a battery box nearby to store the small amount they generate, so that whenever you want to use that power, it should be pretty easy to access. So let's jump on downstairs here and make a quick thermopile setup to power our sorting machine. And a good spot for this, I think, would probably be right under here. Right in this back corner. Cool. So here we can run our power lines and everything we want straight across here. And we're going to wind up running the power straight here. Okay, so this shouldn't be too hard to do. A nice setup for your thermopile is to have, first off, we're going to want an infinite water source. That'll do. A nice setup for your thermopile is to have 4 water sources and 1 lava source. That's pretty much one of your most ideal setups. So if I wanted to, I could place a bucket of water here, and then the thermopile we'd wind up placing, let's say, here. Okay, so I've got 1 bucket of water right there. I'm going to have another water source right here. And then another one can go right here. Cool. And the final one we're going to want to have right on top. So that can go right here. Nice. So that is 4 water sources, like I said. The lava source will come from my tank over here. Yoink. And that goes right underneath the thermopile. Cool. So now we've got a thermopile that's capable of producing energy. Not bad. All I need to do is run some blue alloy wiring straight over to something that can store that energy temporarily. I'm thinking that'll be my battery box. Not bad. Sounds like a plan. In fact, I might want to just have this guy right here. So I might want to eventually run some power off in this direction. So yeah, here's a good spot for the battery box. Cool. And we should start to see a very small amount of power starting to build up in there. Like I said, not very powerful, but it'll work for what we want to do. And I can run some power directly up to my sorting machine, and it'll start getting a little bit of power once this guy starts charging up. Now, a good tip for you guys, if you want to jumpstart your battery box and make sure he's able to, get a little bit of work done before the thermopile really heats up and does its thing, let's go get a battery. and I'll show you how to use that. So right up here, head over to my project table, grab a battery. Don't you love those plans? Trust me, they're awesome. Charged up in the top slot, like I said. It'll drain the excess power and throw it into the battery. And then we can come down this way and drop the power directly into my bat box. Cool. And you'll note that I made a point of doing all this in a spot where I could cover it up with smooth stone, so it looks real nice and fancy. So you can see the power draining out of the battery box. That's actually heading straight over to the sorting machine here, giving it enough juice to run. It is now capable of operating. Awesome. The next thing I'm going to need, and first I'm going to put away some stuff. Thank you. Always like to have 2 buckets of water on me if I ever need a power source or, something along those lines. All right, that good? Yeah. The next thing I'm going to need in order for this to work is some paint. And this is really important for use with the sorting machine, and you'll see how it works in just a moment. Always like to light up any underground areas that I build as well, just because, monsters could spawn down there, and that would be just annoying. All right. I'll be back once I have the components needed to make some paint. Alright guys, here goes nothing. Some iron and some tin, in a ratio of 2 iron to 1 tin, will get you 4 tin plates. These tin plates are used to make yourself some paint cans. You're going to need 7 per paint can, so simply do this. There we go. Oh, that gets you 3 paint cans. Alright, that's a change in the recipe that wasn't always like that. Cool. Alright, that's alright. I'll need a bunch of paint cans and tin plates, so I'll just let this run. That's fine. In order to use these guys, you're going to need some flax seeds, which is a good thing we got a bunch of flax seeds. And you use this stuff to make paint. Nice and easy recipes. 1 color dye and 2 flax seeds with your paint can will get you the color of paint that you want. Not bad. So I'm going to go ahead here and get just a couple of the colors of paint that I might want to use. So we've got all kinds of good stuff in here, don't we? I'm also going to have at least some red and yellow flowers. I might even be able to transmute myself some other paint colors. That'll be cool. Get some of this. That should be good. All right. So real easy recipes here. Just bone meal, paint can, and 2 flax seeds gets me a white paint can. Awesome. Then I'm going to want a paintbrush. These guys are pretty easy. Just a stick and a piece of wool. Any color wool will do. So I think I've got some wool in here. Some of the white stuff. Good. So I can do this. Ta-da! There's 3 paint cans, or 3 paintbrushes. Paintbrush plus paint can equals colored paintbrush, and it uses a little bit of the durability of the paint can, so that'll go in there for now. So let me get just a couple colors that I'm going to want. I'm going to go ahead and get a red and a yellow and all kinds of good stuff, and I'll be back when I've got some. Alright guys, got a handful of paintbrushes, not the full spectrum, but enough to get started. These things are pretty simple to use. Simply walk up to whatever pneumatic tube that you want to paint and right click. Boom. And the pneumatic tube gets that color. What that means is any items traveling through a pneumatic tube that have been assigned a specific color are allowed to travel through an uncolored tube and a tube of the same color, but they can't travel through a tube of a different color. It does not mean they'll prioritize the blue tube. So if we have a blue item traveling through here, and I'll show you what that looks like in a minute, it doesn't mean it'll prioritize the blue tube. It means it's allowed to go into the blue tube, and an orange item is not allowed to go in there. Okay, so it's very important to note the difference between the prioritizing of the tube and the permissioning to go through it. Okay, so pretty neat system. Pretty simple to use. Let's now do this. I probably want to have a second sorting machine here because I know I'm going to need one. So what I'm going to do is set it up right here in the wall, like this. And if I don't have my screwdriver on me, it should be in here. Now I know the sorting machine looks like a pretty complex guy, but don't worry, he's really not that bad. And that's the direction I want it to go. Cool. Excellent. Alright, so I think I've got almost everything I need here. Let's run some pneumatic tubing just to make sure it looks good, and I'll probably need a little bit more of the stuff. That should be plenty. Okay. Note that the pneumatic tubing is intelligent enough not to connect to a side of a machine that will not accept items, so that's pretty good. It also will connect in here and connect in here. That should be good. Yeah, that ought to work. Okay. Might want a transposer here or an item detector or something. I think we should be fine though. Alright, so we've got our sorting machine ready to go. And what I'm going to do with this sorting machine is set his output or his input color to white. And what this means is anything that's painted white, for example, coming from this sorting machine, will be allowed to travel into the sorting machine. Anything that's unpainted will not, or will also be allowed to go in there, and anything that is painted not white will travel past it and continue up the line, presumably. I also need some power for this guy, so let's run that real quick. Might need a cover for this, but that shouldn't be much of a problem. So you can see our battery box hasn't really generated all that much power. I mean, it is going. It's definitely running, but slowly but surely, if you know what I mean. Taking its time. Just want this to look a little nice down here, right? Ta-da! And now we should have some power going into our sorting machine. Coming straight out of the battery box. Excellent. Everything we need to start sorting items. Okay. Now we're getting somewhere. So let's set up our first item sort. Because I set this guy to blue right here, we're going to want to set up a blue path. It's simple, just left click to increase by the color and right click to go down. And I happen to know blue is towards the end, so anything that I place in this line in the sorting machine will be pulled out of the chest and sent down the blue path. Perfect. Now the sorting machine has a bunch of different modes that we can put it in, and they're really useful for a couple different systems, but the mode that I want to put it in is this one. What this means is it'll won't matter what size of stack the item is that's pulling out. So in some situations, if I put, say, half a stack of cobble here, it would only pull out half a stack, and it wouldn't pull out, for example, 16. But I don't want it to care about the stack. I want to be able to throw anything I want in there and get it sorted. So this mode means it's going to pull anything it wants, and it has a mode of paint it a certain color if it's not in this interface. So right now, anything that gets sent through this interface will get painted a certain color. It'll be white if it's not in the interface. Anything in this column of stuff will be painted blue. So for example, if I were to put, I don't know, red alloy wire in there, it'll get painted blue. Okay, let's put wood in there for the time being, or you know what, I'll put cobblestone in blue just to demonstrate this, okay? And then finally I want to put this mode on. There's a couple different modes. This one receives a redstone signal and pulls an item out of the chest. This one just endlessly pulls items out of chests and won't wait for a redstone signal. This one is like the first mode, but it will queue up its redstone signal, so if it fails to pull an item out for whatever reason, and then items land in there, it'll remember the redstone signals it's received while it was waiting and continue to pull. But this is the mode we want. Okay, so right now we have it set up so that unknown items get painted white, cobblestone gets painted blue. So let's put a piece of cobblestone in there. Boom. Cobblestone is painted blue. You can see it's got that blue border, and it will go through the system and make its way over to one of the pulverizers, where it will be pulverized, turned into sand, and there you go. Looking pretty good, right? Cool. So you can see it also made some gravel there, of course. So I'm going to get that gravel out of there. And it turned into glass. Perfect. That's exactly what I wanted to see happen. Now, an item it doesn't know what to do with, anything in my inventory, for example, I'm just going to throw some wood in there. It gets painted white because it doesn't know what to do with wood. And that is going to make its way to my second sorting machine. Okay, the second sorting machine is going to say, all right, I've got this wood thing, but I don't know what to do with it, so I'm just not going to paint it anything. Right now, it's just going to get stuck in an infinite loop in the system. Not that big a deal. We can remedy that real quick and easy. And what I'm going to do is actually put this guy in the same looping mode of not sure what to do with it. So let's do this mode here. And we'll make this paint items black if they don't know what to do with them. All right, now what's wrong? It's stuck. It doesn't have anywhere to send the item. There is no black tube. It's not allowed to go in here because only white items can go in here. And it's not allowed to go over here because only blue items can go in here. So I'm going to put a chest right here for the time being. Oh, it painted it something else. All right, probably gray or something. But anyway, put the chest there for the time being. And because this tube is not painted any color, it lets any color pass through. So see how that works? Pretty important. All right, I'll be back in a few. So one of the first chests I'm going to set up is this guy, my random junk chest, if you will. It's allowed to have sand and dirt and cobblestone and gravel. Let's see, that's 4 items, and I can put 6 in a column, so I tend to like to have no more than 6 different, oh, I can put 5 in a column, okay. Yeah, so let's also throw, I'm going to take netherrack and soul sand out of here. That's good for now. Looking cool. So let's go ahead and assign this guy color. It's real easy. Just going to put some pneumatic tubing right here. And we're going to make the color of this chest, let's call it orange. Sound like a plan? Sure, why not? Okay. Now the pneumatic tube itself is orange, so it's a little hard to tell. Now the fancy blocks chest, which has my stone and bricks and stone bricks and marble and that kind of stuff, that's going to be a different color. Let's go ahead and make that guy light blue. And you know what? I'm going to go with magenta. Yeah, that'll be good. Now watch what happens here when I change the color of this tube. Boom. Different colored pipes or tubes here will not connect to each other. So what I've got here now is a system where the orange and magenta tubes won't connect. Cool. And what do we got over here? We got our living things chest. I should have made this guy green, but I don't have any green on me. So I'll just hold off on that for now. Going to, oh great, zombies. Run some of this stuff over here like this. You know what? I just don't want to hear the zombie banging on my door. I'm in the middle of building something. I'll switch it back to normal in a bit. Yep, that's what I did. Now, where do I want this to run? Do I want to see it? If it's running up here. I sometimes like to watch my items travel through the piping system. It's just kind of cool to see. So, there we go. Nice. And I'll have a similar system going out in this direction over here in just a bit. But for now, we've got any fancy bricks going to the magenta colored chest. And any dirt and stuff going to the orange one. So let's set that up here. We're actually going to get cobblestone out of here. And we'll make this guy orange. Cool. Drop it on the ground for just a minute. Dirt and gravel. Cool. And then magenta can be like the marble brick. It can be smooth stone. It can be, what else do we want to put in here? Smooth stone, marble brick, marble, stone brick. And you know what? I'm going to put basalt cobblestone in there. That should be good. Yeah. Good enough for now. Cool. Looking good. So let's give this guy just a little bit of a test and watch what happens to all my stuff. You should see it all getting sorted properly unless I goof something up. Okay, so I'm just going to put in here the following items. I'm going to put some gravel and a little bit of smooth stone and a little bit of cobblestone. That should do. So note that the smooth stone is getting painted magenta and the gravel and cobblestone is getting painted orange. And they're heading up the right direction, which is exactly what I was hoping to see. And they should make their way up here and into the appropriate chests. Cool. Orange going into orange, magenta going into magenta. That's how the sorting machine works, is it will sort your items for you. Cool? Alright, one thing else that I discovered I wanted to have in this line, instead of basalt, I'm going to throw glass in there. I'm not going to worry about basalt for now. That can actually go into my orange line. So unprocessed basalt can go in here. Cool? fancy blocks there. Nice. I don't have any unprocessed ore, but I need some like gold ore and some, copper and tin and lead and silver to put in to tell it how to make its way towards the blue line. So we'll get to that eventually. What else do I want to do? So how about let me spend a few minutes here tidying up this system now that you guys have seen how it works, and I'll be back. Alright, so here's where this part comes in. I think I'm going to have my cooked and smelted ores go down the blue path. I've already used blue, so I'm actually going to make this light blue. So unprocessed is light blue, and processed is dark blue. Sound like a plan? So I just need to get a light blue guy here. I'll make it this one. Probably going to need 2 for that, because I think there's copper, tin, gold, iron, and silver and lead. So I'm going to need 6 different ores to go into this guy. That's alright, I can manage. What else do we got here? So I want to break this guy off, because I'm really not actually going to have this going this way. Wow, I keep missing terribly. That is not a fun thing. Stop that. I want to have it actually spit out and then get sorted, because there's a few things that we might wind up cooking that we don't actually want to go into that chest. So I'm actually going to have him probably face into the wall here and then make his way over to the sorting machine. Just have to figure out how I want to do that. So for now, just give me a few minutes and I'll be back. Alright, so I've designated a new chest up there, made it the lime color, and that's actually this chest that I hadn't used yet. That's actually going to be my red power dusts and gems, so they're all going to hang out in that chest there. And then this yellow path here will just be coal, diamond, redstone, uranium, and lapis. Do I want uranium in here? Maybe I could throw uranium in with the red power thing. Yeah, I think that's what I'd wind up doing. So this will actually be my glowstone chest after all. And uranium in the blue one. So this will be like my vanilla dust and gems, and this will be my modded dust and gems. So uranium, go up that path too. Cool. Sorting system coming along rather nicely, actually. I like the way it's looking so far. Plenty of expansion available. Lots of chests that I can place in this room that I just haven't yet. I'm liking it. I really am. Alright, I'll be back in a few. And oh yeah, as for my machine here, this guy is just going to set up like this. Run the pneumatic tubes out the back and into a nice little pneumatic tube system that'll come over here, straight along to here, and then work its way. Now what's going to happen is, as soon as an item comes down, regardless of what color it is, the nearest inventory that it's allowed in when it hits this intersection is this sorting machine right here. So anything that comes down from the furnaces over there will come and automatically get sorted. Now you'll see this whole thing in motion, so if you're having a little trouble following along, my apologies, but you'll see it all in motion pretty soon. Cool. So now I just have to tell it what items to send where here. So anything that gets smelted would probably, might smelt glass, but for now I'm going to get gold, iron. Bronze doesn't smelt, tin, lead. That's a good start. That can all be the dark blue path. Remember I said dark blue for the stuff that's being cooked. And the cool thing about this is if I happen to throw iron or gold or lead or something into my input chest, it will properly be sorted. So by setting this up this way, it's just a little extra insurance that things properly go where they're supposed to. I've also got ferrous, shiny, which I don't even know what this stuff is, but I've gotten like 1 piece since I've been mining. That's cool. Copper, and refined iron. Sure, why not? I can put that in there. Now I do have copper and tin here that I got while exploring in some chests and dungeons and stuff. So we won't worry about that stuff too much for now. But like I said, you might need a second row here of dark blues for your refined iron, your copper, and your ferrous ingots. Okay. That reminds me we have ferrous ore too. That's another ore type. Cool. Not a problem. I've got my 2 light blues set up over here. Now we're way past the wrapping up point for this episode, but I would like to spend a little time tidying up the system before we wrap up. So I'll be back in just a few. Oh yeah, one more thing I do want to set up. It's probably that I want to find out where my chests are up here, because I probably actually should be connecting on the chest line. Okay, so I should actually be running this along this way. Cool. Alright, so what I probably should be doing... Much harder to do this stuff without a gravity suit, isn't it? So instead of doing this... and I'll tidy all that up later. Really easy to miss with these things, by the way, so be careful. Oh great, it's raining. There we go. Cleaning up the mess I made. Cool. Now, the path that I want to find is this chest here. I think it's this one. Nope, it is this one, my miscellaneous junk chest. This is where stuff's going to be placed when the system has no idea what to do with it. Like, I haven't put it in any sorting machine. It has no idea what to do. It's going to go right there. And that is going to be the black paintbrush. Boom. That is because this guy is set up to emit out the black color if it doesn't know what to do. So basically our sorting machine are set up in two ways. First off, this one over here will say, hey, anything that matches this gets colored. If you don't know what to do with it, send it down the white path, which will wind up going towards this sorting machine. This guy will, decide what to do with it. It's got plenty of room for expansion. And if it doesn't know what to do, it's going to go ahead and send it down the black path, which will wind up in that excess junk chest up there. And for now, it's way past that good wrapping up point, so sorry to say, it's time to go. I'm going to clean up this system, probably just expand on what I've done so far, and I'll come back and show you guys next episode, in episode 12, how it turned out. I'm going to clean up the room, maybe even throw some of those fancy covers all over the place so that most of this stuff is hidden. Like I said, I like to see stuff traveling through the pneumatic tube system, so I'll probably leave that exposed, maybe have some glass covers or something, just to make it look a little extra fancy. And there's a new type of cover I want to show you, not new to those who have seen the series, but definitely new if you're new to the series. It's going to help us with these pneumatic tubes. Those of you who have watched before probably know I'm talking about hollow covers. Alright guys, this is Direwolf20 signing off. Hope you enjoyed checking out the second part of the sorting room. This is episode 11, and take it easy.